Welcome back. It's my distinct honor and privilege to welcome Dr. Michele Bobadilla, who serves as a Senior Associate Vice President of Outreach Services and Community Engagement and Assistant Provost for Hispanic Student Success at UT Arlington. She is not only an expert in the field, but just is a wonderful, wonderful inspiration to so many. So thank you so much for being here, Dr. Bobadilla.
Very happy to be here. Thank you.
We're really thrilled that you're here, and we want to talk to you about the mentality that it takes to get to college. So what would you say that you see in college students in their mentality and in their philosophy?
Really, a lot of what has to happen is there has to be kind of the thought that the parents and the students have to work together as teamwork. A child has to feel supported in the endeavors that they're pursuing. And many times students will say, well, my parents can't help me because they didn't go to college or they didn't graduate from high school. But what I have to remind everybody is that, you know, if your parents are providing a warm place for you to sleep at night, if they're providing food for you, if they're nurturing you throughout the other aspects of your life, they are providing support for you.
Right.
And so a lot of it's going to take kind of that stick-to-itness that the student has to find within themselves as well. If your parents don't have that background of having gone to college or having graduated from high school, find a mentor that can provide that support for you. Find a friend, if it's your church, if it's someone at school, if it's your employer. But they have to search out those kinds of networks that are going to help fill in the void that they feel they don't have right now. But I would definitely say by all means that a parent and the child have to communicate effectively. Just like when you're parenting a child, you always say, are you listening to me? We need to listen to the children and our youth as they're growing up and saying, you know, this is what I'm interested in pursuing. How do I go about doing it? And then together you explore all those avenues, whatever that may be. But the one thing I can say to parents is by all means don't limit your child's ability to move forward. That be their biggest cheerleader. Help them in this process by being their advocate, but also help them to learn how to make effective decisions on their own. The worst thing we can do is to be kind of the helicopter parent that hovers over and tries to make all those choices for our children. We've got to let them go so that they can explore and search the avenues. They may have some failures, but that's okay. You pick yourself up and you keep going. But I would say really the best thing a parent can do is communicate effectively with your child. Be there, as whether it's just to listen to them, provide a nice place at home where they can study without too much distraction, you know, provide them with a healthy meal, and you're doing a tremendous amount to support your child in those efforts.
Man, that's incredible.
That's such a strong message, not only to the parent, but also to the student. If you're ever in doubt that maybe you're not being supported, when you consider the basic needs of a bed to lay in, food in your stomach, your clothes are clean, you know, that's it's such a wonderful reminder that is support.
Absolutely.
Speaking to the adult student who doesn't have that and has to do it all on their own.
Yeah, and I would love to park on what you were talking about creating a space to study. What does that look like? Can you kind of paint a picture for for us to know what that looks like?
It could take many forms. It could be on the dining room table after everyone has cleared the dishes and you're sitting. It could be in your bedroom. You know, it could be in a closet in a house. I used to have a friend that would actually was one of 9 children and would lock himself in the closet because that was the quiet place to study. But what it needs to be is a place that's respected by the rest of your family, because studying is absolutely critical to success. And so there has to be respect in the fact that you are trying to provide something better for your life, and there has to be respect that my area has to be quiet when I'm studying. Whatever that may be. It may be a small table, you know, in a corner of a room. It may be a beautiful desk. It may be on top of your bed. It may be in your closet. But just that there is a quiet place that you can study and that you're not going to be interrupted, and then you can devote that time to the academics and the things that need to be done.
That's good.
I hear another opportunity for our churches to get engaged, and maybe it's a safe place or a quiet place in the church.
Absolutely.
That could be a study lab,
Right.
or could create another avenue for...
In fact, I know many churches have Saturday school, where they open up their youth buildings so that kids can come in and have that safe place. Maybe they have internet access. Maybe it has laptops. Maybe there are volunteers who can assist them as mentors or tutors with homework. But, you know, a public library, the church, or just a place in your own home. It just has to be a
Absolutely.
place that's
Absolutely.
defined as your place to be able to study and devote the time that's needed to get what you need to get done.
That's awesome.
Fantastic. Well, we want to talk to students now. What would you say to students? What can a junior high or middle school student be doing now? Because college may seem far away
Right.
from 6 years or 5 years, but what can they be doing now to actively be getting ready and be prepared for their college experience?
Well, I will tell you what every student needs to do, even beginning as early as elementary school. They need to tell somebody what their aspirations are. You know, if you can talk to a small child and they'll say, I want to be an astronaut, I want to be a doctor. You need to share and articulate what it is you want to be, because you never know who you're talking to and what ability they may have to be able to help you reach that goal. I was at a college fair recently, and I was kind of occupied with something, and a young man came to the college recruiter next to me and said, do you offer XYZ classes, do this, that? I thought, my God, that question is coming from somebody who has a very young sounding voice. So I looked up, and it was a 6th grader.
Wow.
And so we said, are you planning to go to college? And he goes, when I go to school, I'm not going to look for schools, they're going to look for me.
Wow.
And I thought, you know what, that's the confidence in the character that he had. Somebody gave him that, you know, whether it was instilled by parents, his church, his community. And it kind of goes back to the old, you know, kind of Boy Scout, Girl Scout thing, that you have to have confidence, courage, and you know, venture out and do these things. But you know, I would just say that they have to challenge themselves. Every student has got to challenge themselves. They have to take the most rigorous coursework that's available to them at their junior high or high school, especially in the younger grades in elementary and in junior high. You have to explore careers. What do you think you might be interested in? And as you're going on that career pathway, there are so many opportunities. You know, it doesn't just have to be the engineer. You might want to get into the logistics. You might want to get into distribution. There are so many things that lead on that path. It's not just one thing. And so there are lots of tools right now on the internet where students can do career exploration. You know, if your dad's a mechanic, okay, a mechanic is one level. If I keep going to school, then I can be an engineer. There's so many things that can be explored, and that's terribly important, because as you're starting to define the courses that you need to take in high school, you need to have an idea. These are some of the career pathways that I think I'm interested in. This will give me more options, but truly part of it is challenging yourself, telling people what your desires are, exploring possibilities, making sure you take advantage of every opportunity that's afforded you. So many churches have different kinds of camps in the summer. Schools have camps in the summer. There are a lot of opportunities that are free and available to students, but you have to avail yourself of those things.
Yeah, I love what you said about challenging yourself, because, you know, Scripture tells us to work as if we're working unto the Lord and not man. And so I think that when we approach our schoolwork that way and we say, this belongs to you, Lord, and so there's a great opportunity as parents to help disciple students to know that they're not striving for the A for the teacher or for even for the degree plan. They're striving for that A to bring the best of whatever they bring unto the Lord. And so it's really a worshipful experience. The other thing we were talking about was that there's a great quote that says, the teacher thought I was smarter than I was, so I was.
That's right.
And that expectation of ourselves, and when adults expect the best, then students will rise to that expectation. Well, I know we've talked a little bit about mentality. I'd love to talk about some of the resources that you mentioned. So what are resources that parents and students need to know about?
I would say absolutely one of the main resources that they need to be aware of is the College Board. And the College Board is a national organization, and most universities in the United States belong to the College Board. The College Board also has tools on their website where students can begin planning their college pathway as early as middle school, telling them exactly, as a 7th grader, these are things you need to be doing. Goes all the way through every year until graduation from high school. And that's a beautiful roadmap for a family that maybe hasn't had that example, because they will be the first in their family to go to college. So having this kind of map laid out for you that says, you know, these are the things I need to be doing here, fantastic. The College Board also has online free tutoring for the SAT, which for many universities is a required entrance exam. So it's important for parents to make sure that they take advantage of those opportunities with their children. Through virtual, you know, you can go visit kids always tell me, well, we don't have the money to go visit, the college that I want to go to. You can do anything virtually. You can take a virtual tour of almost any university in the country. And it's a wonderful thing to have your parent be on that journey with you. This is what this college looks like. This is, where I would be living. Let them be a part of that journey with you so that they can be more engaged and supportive of the decisions you make later on down the road. The Hispanic Scholarship Fund is another national organization that's extremely important, especially for our Latino community. They offer millions of dollars in scholarships that will, once a student earns it and maintains their grades, it'll pay all the way through a PhD.
Wow.
So it's an incredible opportunity. It's very competitive, so our students have to prepare themselves. That's why taking those academically rigorous courses is important. That's why studying diligently is important, because you're investing in yourself by doing all these things. I would say a third website that's very important is the financial aid website out of the U.S. Department of Ed, and students will know it as FAFSA. But that is an incredible website where you actually go online, you can get your estimated family contribution. There are many steps to this, and this is what's a little bit concerning, because a student has to request a PIN in order to begin the process, and then there are a lot of documents that have to be attached to this application. Students would need their driver's license, they would need their socials, parents would need their income tax records. But once all of that information is downloaded into this online application, every year it's just a matter of importing the new income tax information. The first year would be the most rigorous. But what I want to warn everybody about, though, when you're filling out that financial aid online application, there are many steps. You have to apply, then you go through a verification process, which you have to do, then you hit submit. So it's apply, verify, submit. Once that process is complete, then within a certain amount of time you would find out what the estimated financial aid award would be for your university. And that's important, because then a student can then decide, do I need to do a work-study job in conjunction? Am I going to have enough grants, loans, scholarships? So there are a lot of decisions along the way, but I would say those three websites are critical as you're going through this college process.
That's phenomenal. I think one of the best pieces of advice I got was, once you get your PIN, that you have a PIN number, that you need to keep that all the years that you're in college.
That's
The
right.
4 years, you want to make sure that you keep that in a safe place, like you would money. This is what I was told, keep that in a safe place.
Absolutely.
Well, I know we've got just a few seconds left, but I just wanted to give you a chance. If you were talking to a student now who's watching, what encouragement would you give them?
Be true to yourself. And that's what I really have to say. I mean, don't let other people dissuade you from what you want to do. It's not going to be an easy road, but nothing worthwhile is ever easy. So you have to commit. And at the end, it's going to bring so many rewards to you. But I would say, be true to yourself. Know what you stand for, or else you're going to fall for everything. And those are incredible lessons as a student that you need to know, because you've got to say, I'm going to make it to the end of this, I'm going to persist through graduation, and I'm going to keep going. One of the other things I would tell them is that don't think that once you get the degree, that's the end of it. Learning is lifelong, and you're going to be involved in this process as you go through every change of your life.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
So it's such a blessing hearing that from you. And now we have some additional information for you watching. Join us.